All right. Buckle up, everybody, because today we're diving headfirst into the world of the Tesla Cybertruck.
Oh yeah, this one's going to be interesting.
It's the electric pickup truck that's been sparking debates since the day it was unveiled.
Like, love it or hate it, it definitely gets people talking.
And we're going to get into all of it. The good, the bad, and the downright strange.
We've got some really fascinating sources for this deep dive too, pulling from both sides of the Atlantic.
I love it. Different perspectives always make for a more interesting conversation. So, where do we even begin with the Cybertruck saga? It's been a wild ride since that grand debut back in 2019.
It sure has. Let's just say it hasn't been the smoothest ride to production.
Yeah, remember those surprisingly affordable prices they announced back in 2019?
Oh yeah, those days are long gone.
Ancient history. This article lays out the current pricing, and let me tell you, it's a wild ride for anyone who put down a reservation back then, hoping for a bargain.
Yeah, sticker shot for sure.
For sure. So let's break it down. What's the damage for someone looking to buy a Cybertruck today?
Well, the base model, which initially had everyone buzzing with that low starting price, that'll now set you back $60,990.
Whoa. Okay, so the base model is already a considerable jump from what they first promised.
It is.
What about the other models?
Hold on to your hats. The dual motor version is going for $79,990.
Getting pricey, but I have a feeling you're about to drop the real bomb on me. What about the tri-motor? How much is that going to cost someone?
The top-of-the-line tri-motor Cybertruck will now cost you a cool $99,990.
You weren't kidding. That is a hefty price tag.
It is.
Especially compared to that initial estimate of $70,000.
Yeah, a lot of people are scratching their heads wondering what happened.
For sure. I mean, that's a huge difference. That's enough to make someone rethink their pre-order, even if they were initially gung-ho about the Cybertruck.
You would think.
Speaking of gung-ho, can we talk about the design of this thing? It's like nothing else on the road. It's angular, imposing, and, let's be honest, a little polarizing.
It's definitely a head-turner.
You can't deny that it makes a statement.
Absolutely. And the why behind that unique design is just as interesting.
It is.
This article delves into Tesla's choice of materials, specifically that ultra-tough, cold-rolled stainless steel used for the body.
Oh yeah, the same stuff they use in rockets, right?
Got it. So theoretically, this thing should be able to withstand just about anything.
I mean, they've even released videos of it shrugging off bullets.
Talk about a tough sell, literally.
Literally. But here's where it gets interesting. This super strong steel has a surprising vulnerability.
Oh, and what's that?
It's incredibly difficult and expensive to repair.
Oh, I see.
If the Cybertruck gets damaged, traditional body shop techniques just won't cut it.
So much for invincible.
Right, and let's not forget about that whole shattered window debacle during the initial presentation.
Oh man, that's one for the history books.
It's become the stuff of legends, immortalized in memes everywhere.
To be fair to Tesla, reports suggest that those armor glass windows have held up in other tests.
Let's hope so. Still, I'm not sure I'd want to test that out myself.
Me neither.
Speaking of testing things out, what's the interior like? Is it as futuristic looking as the outside?
It is. Picture this. A spacious cabin with seating for up to 5 adults, a minimalist aesthetic that borders on stark, and a massive 18.5-inch touchscreen dominating the dashboard.
It's like they took the minimalist design of their other models, cranked it up a notch, and then threw in some extra angles just for good measure.
Pretty much.
Hold on, didn't they initially say the Cybertruck would have seating for 6?
They did. Seems like someone lost their seat in the name of design or maybe practicality.
Less is more, right?
I guess so. At least when it comes to the Cybertruck's seating capacity.
So, 5 seats it is. What about the steering wheel? I had they make some changes there, too.
You heard right. They ditched that controversial yoke design they were going for and opted for a more traditional steering wheel for the Cybertruck.
Probably a wise move.
I think so. Not everyone wants to feel like they're piloting a spaceship on their morning commute.
Exactly. But speaking of driving, let's talk performance. This is where the Cybertruck promises to, well, live up to its name and then some.
Get ready for some impressive numbers. Depending on the model you choose, the Cybertruck can go from 0 to 60 mph in as little as 2.9 seconds.
Hold on, did you just say 2.9 seconds?
I did.
That's insane. That's supercar territory.
It is pretty wild.
All right, you've got my attention. Tell me more. 2.9 seconds. Okay, I'm officially intrigued. That's some serious get up and go for a pickup truck.
Right, and that's not even the half of it.
Oh, there's more.
Oh, yeah. The tri-motor Cybertruck can tow up to 14,000 pounds.
So let me get this straight. I could haul my boat to the lake, A&D out-accelerate a sports car at a stoplight.
That's the idea.
This is starting to sound less like a truck and more like a superhero vehicle.
Speaking of superhero claims, remember we were talking about wave mode earlier?
Oh yeah, the whole Cybertruck can swim thing?
Right.
What's the deal with that? Can it really handle a dip in the ocean, or is that just hype?
Well, it's a bit more complicated than that.
I knew there had to be a catch.
There have been reports of rust and water damage in Cybertrucks that have spent a bit too much time submerged.
Wait, rust? On a truck built with spaceship-grade stainless steel?
It seems even the toughest materials have their limit.
I guess so.
Tesla has acknowledged these corrosion issues, blaming them on panel alignment issues, but still.
Panel alignment issues. That sounds a bit like an understatement when we're talking about rust and water damage.
It does make you wonder.
Yeah, it does.
And the potential hazards don't end there. Remember those sharp, futuristic edges we talked about earlier?
Oh, you mean the ones that make it look like it drove straight out of a sci-fi movie?
Those are the ones.
What about them?
Let's just say there have been some unfortunate incidents involving fingers getting a little too close to those doors and tailgate while they were closing.
Ouch. You'd think a company that's usually so focused on safety would have considered that.
You'd think.
And speaking of safety, we have to talk about the recall that was issued this past April.
Oh yeah, that wasn't great.
What was it for this time?
Yeah.
Engine falling out, wheels turning square.
Not quite that dramatic, but still serious.
Okay, I'm listening.
The recall was issued because of a problem that could cause the accelerator pedal to get stuck in the down position.
Whoa, okay. That's not good at all.
Not good at all.
That's more than just a panel alignment issue. That's downright dangerous.
It definitely highlights that even with all the hype and futuristic tech, the Cybertruck is still a work in progress.
True.
There are bound to be kinks to work out.
For sure. But let's shift gears a bit and talk about something a little less, shall we say, accident-prone.
Sounds good to me.
Let's talk range and battery tech, because that's one area where the Cybertruck seems to be genuinely ambitious, at least on paper.
It is. Tesla's been making some big claims about their new batteries.
So tell me more. What's the deal with these new batteries? What makes them so special?
Well, the Cybertruck uses Tesla's latest and greatest, the 4680 battery cells. And these aren't your run-of-the-mill batteries. This is a completely new design.
A new design?
Yeah, instead of those old cylindrical cells, they're stacking these new cells like Lego bricks.
Okay, that's a cool visual.
Right, and it's not just about looking cool either. This new design lets them pack way more energy into the same space, which means potentially game-changing range and efficiency.
So more Legos equal more range.
Essentially, yes. Plus, they can charge much faster, especially with Tesla's new megacharger stations.
Mega chargers. Those sound pretty mega.
They are. They can pump out up to 1,000 kilowatts of power. They're mainly designed for Tesla's electric semi-trucks, but the Cybertruck will be able to take advantage of them too.
That's pretty cool. But what about us regular folks who don't have a mega charger in our backyard? Can I still juice this thing up at a normal charging station?
Of course. You can still charge it up at regular supercharger stations. It'll just take a bit longer.
That makes sense.
Yeah. It's like the difference between using a fire hose and a regular garden hose.
I can picture that.
Yeah.
So we've got this revolutionary battery design, super fast charging, but what kind of actual driving range are we talking about here? Did the Cybertruck live up to Tesla's initial promises?
That's where things get a little complicated.
Let me guess. They overpromised. Again.
It wouldn't be the first time. So the base model Cybertruck, with its single motor and all, has an estimated EPA range of 402 miles.
402 miles?
Yeah.
That's barely more than their Model Y. I thought these new batteries were supposed to be a total game changer.
Yeah, well, the Cybertruck's weight and aerodynamics probably play a role in its real-world range. Yeah. And it doesn't get that much better with the higher-end models either.
Oh no, really? Tell me it isn't so. What about the dual and tri-motor versions? What kind of range are we looking at for those?
All right, so the dual-motor version with all-wheel drive clocks in at 547 miles of range.
Okay, that's a bit better, but still.
And the tri-motor top-of-the-line model. Somewhat disappointing, 515 miles.
515, but they were initially saying over 800 miles for the tri-motor. That's a pretty big difference.
Yeah, they were a bit optimistic with that one, to say the least.
I guess so.
But there is a glimmer of hope for those who absolutely need maximum range. Tesla is offering a range extender as an optional extra.
Okay, I'm listening. A range extender. What is that exactly? And more importantly, how much is it going to cost me? A range extender, huh? Sounds pretty intense. What is it, like some kind of giant spare battery pack or something?
Pretty much. It's an extra battery pack that you can load onto the truck bed, giving you a total range of up to 756 miles.
So I have a drive from New York to Chicago on a single charge with a giant battery pack taking up all my cargo space.
You might need a quick top-up along the way, but you get the idea.
Okay, so maybe not exactly practical for everyone, but still an interesting option for people who really need that extra range.
Exactly. But here's the thing about the Cybertruck's battery tech that I find really fascinating. It's not just about how far it can go, it's also about how it can power other things.
What do you mean? What else can it power?
Well, the Cybertruck has what's called bidirectional charging, so it can not only be charged, but it can also act as a power source.
Wait, like a generator?
Essentially, think of it as a giant mobile power bank.
So I could, power my house during a blackout.
Exactly. Or imagine you're camping off the grid and you need to power your appliances or charge up your electric mountain bikes. The Cybertruck's got you covered.
Wow. Okay, now that is pretty cool. So the Cybertruck is a truck, a sports car, a boat, kind of, and a generator. This thing really is the Swiss Army knife of vehicles.
It's trying to be everything, isn't it? But that kind of brings us back to the big question, the one we've been dancing around this whole time, with all its quirks, delays, and controversies. Is the Cybertruck really the revolutionary vehicle Tesla claims it to be?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it? What's your take?
Well, this French article we've been discussing, it doesn't really come to any firm conclusions, and I think that's kind of telling. The Cybertruck is a bit of a paradox. Full of potential, sure, but also prone to stumbling. You know, maybe a bit too out there for the average person.
It's like the automotive equivalent of a thought experiment gone rogue.
That's a great way to put it.
It's exciting and a little bit scary at the same time, like that feeling when you're about to get on a roller coaster.
Totally. It's exhilarating if you buy into the vision, but kind of unnerving for those of us who value practicality and, not getting sliced open by a car door.
Right. So is it really the future of pickup trucks or just a niche product for diehard Tesla fans who want to stand out from the crowd, even if it means standing a bit further away for safety?
Only time will tell on that one. But here's what I find most interesting about this whole Cybertruck saga. It's sparked a conversation, hasn't it? Whether you love it or hate it, you can't deny that Tesla's got people talking about the future of transportation, design, what a car company can be, the whole 9 yards.
It's like the Cybertruck is this giant stainless steel question mark driving down the road, challenging every preconceived notion we have about vehicles.
Exactly. And I think sometimes those questions, those challenges to the status quo, they're more valuable than any answer we could come up with.
So where does that leave us?
I think it leaves us with the most important thing. Curiosity. Instead of trying to reach some kind of verdict on the Cybertruck, I think the real value is in the questions it makes us ask. How far are we willing to go in the name of innovation? What compromises are we willing to make? For efficiency, for aesthetics.
And maybe, most importantly, what does it even mean for something to be future-proof in a world that's changing so rapidly?
Big questions, and I don't have all the answers. But that's the beauty of a deep dive like this, right? It's about exploring the unknown, poking at things we don't understand, maybe even having a few laughs along the way.
Couldn't have said it better myself. I think I need some time to process all this, and maybe steer clear of any sharp edges for the time being.
Probably a good idea. But until next time, everyone, keep those deep dive requests coming. You never know what fascinating rabbit holes we'll be exploring next.